Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks for joining me once again and welcome back to another video. So first of all, it's been a while since I've made my last video. That's because, as some of you may have known, I actually recently traveled over to Kyrgyzstan. Just took a trip there with a friend, and that was without a doubt one of the weirdest yet the most interesting countries I've ever seen. It's very beautiful and photogenic, so if you like nature and something off the beaten track, I definitely recommend it. It was a really cool atmosphere. Also, you might notice from the background, yes, once again, believe it or not, I've actually moved house. It's a long story, once again. But yeah, you could say moving is my hobby. But anyway, regardless, I've been busy, so now today I'm going to make a quick video for you. This is continuing with my existing CD collection, and I've got 6 CDs to talk about. So without further ado, we'll just get straight into it. Okay, so with a couple of these, I have spoken about them before to a degree, but I'm just continuing through the alphabet anyway. So the first album I'm going to talk about, this is Faustian Pact with Uttojen Tornien Varjoissa. So again, that's a Finnish title, so I'm terribly sorry about my butchery of the pronunciation. You may recall that I showed this one about a year ago. I bought it when I was at Steelfest, so I won't go into as much detail today, but if you're not familiar, Faustian Pact is a black metal band from Finland, and they play very sort of striking melodic black metal. So it's mid-paced with catchy kind of riffs, which are very melodic, and they also use a lot of keyboards for added melody and atmosphere, and also use some female vocals. So I know some people can be very judgmental about female vocals, saying it's a sellout. I don't understand why, but sometimes, in my opinion, they just fit the music. And this is very kind of sort of fantasy invoking or enchanting, you could say, but really good. And it's very nostalgic for me. It reminds me of mid-90s black metal. So very melodic and striking and great stuff. And all of the tracks are in Finnish, so I'm not going to read them, but some of my favorites, I think, are tracks 7 and 10, just really striking melodies and catchy riffs, so fantastic stuff. And just showing you the booklet here, yep, so it's beautifully laid out with this golden print. The lyrics aren't that useful, there's a picture of the band, the lyrics aren't useful to me in the sense that, really nice portraits. They're in Finnish, which I don't understand. Do they translate them to English? No. Fair enough. Yeah, but really nice booklet. I think this one is released by, yes, Werewolf Records, so quality label, of course. Yeah, and if you'd like to see my more detailed review of this, you can check out my previous video. I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah, but brilliant melodic, mid-paced, mid-90s nostalgic black metal. This is Faustian Pact with Uttojen Tornien Varjoissa. Alright, so now coming up to something completely different. This is a band that I've listened to ever since the 90s really, but I've never talked about on this channel, but it's a CD that I've owned by them for a very long time. This is Fear Factory with Fear is the Mind Killer. So no doubt for most of you, Fear Factory don't need an introduction. They started out as a death metal band, you could almost say, with Soul of a New Machine, but it had an industrial edge, and then that evolved and developed even further over the years into what could be described as perhaps some kind of futuristic cyber industrial metal, but yes, very original band which broke a lot of boundaries. So this particular one, Fear is the Mind Killer, it's got a series of remixes from the Soul of a New Machine album. So like I said, Soul of a New Machine was death metal with an industrial edge, with those bellowing vocals. And also, Burton C. Bell, he was a very innovative vocalist in the sense that he also started singing with clean vocals. And I remember when this was like 1995 or 96 when I first heard Fear Factory, it just blew my mind because he suddenly shifted from death metal vocals to these melodic, soaring kind of vocals. And my reaction was, what? No, he can't do that. Like ridiculous, because at that time you're so conditioned into only what you know, at least speaking for myself. I was just shocked, but I thought that was truly innovative. And I think his clean singing voice is really good. Like Mr. Boulder said, I think he's influenced a lot of metalcore singers with his style of vocal, but he also does the brutal death growls as well. But anyway, this is some, like you could almost say, techno remixes of songs from the first album, so I know that will immediately put a lot of metalheads off saying, oh fuck electronic music. As I've said on numerous occasions, I quite like electronic music sometimes, so I like this. It's sort of taking the industrial edge and moving it more towards a minimalist techno kind of remix, but it's actually really good, very catchy, easy to tap along to. And if you think about it, with the theme and the style of music that these guys are playing, it seems almost logical that they would do techno remixes of some songs because it actually suits the style. But yeah, don't let the word techno put you off, just go and listen to it. It's very catchy, and if you like Fear Factory and haven't heard it, I'd recommend it. Even if you haven't heard Fear Factory, what rock have you been living under? Go and check this band out. Obviously the most classic album is Demanufacture, so I'd recommend starting with that, but this is a cool remix album. So just show you the booklet here, sorry about this fan, and the disc with the classic FF logo. But yeah, this includes remixes of Martyr, Suffer Bastard mix, Self-Immolation, Main Tap mix, Scapegoat, Pig Fuck mix, Scum Grief, Deep Dub, Trauma mix. So yes, they include some dub as well. Self-Immolation, Liquid Sky mix, and Self-Immolation, the original LP version from Soul of a New Machine, which is such a great heavy track. I remember when I saw this band in Australia live in 1996, when they played that song Self-Immolation, it was just a sea of hair and heads banging, fucking awesome. But yeah, so 3 versions of Self-Immolation, but all tracks on this are great. So enough talk from me about this, just go and check it out. That's Fear Factory with Fear is the Mind Killer. Okay. Okay, up next we have another Finnish band. Okay, this is FINNTROLL with STERKVIND. So I think FINNTROLL are actually pretty commercially successful and well known, so I won't go on about them too much, but if you're not familiar with them, they play a kind of brand of folky black metal. So it's very folk influenced, almost to the point where it's maybe not even black metal sometimes, it's more folk metal, but they definitely include elements of black metal, like the raspy vocals and, you know, the guitar melodies and everything. But a lot of this kind of music, it reminds me of being in an elven forest dancing around a maypole or something, like very folky, very upbeat. Some people may say it even sounds cheesy. I think the first time I heard this band, I thought it sounded a little bit cheesy, but then it grew on me because I like folky melodies. And I know a lot of people think that bands like this, it's kind of like let's get happy music or selling out, but then again, if you think about it, if every band sounded like Dark Throne, it would be monotonous and a bit boring. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Dark Throne as one of my top bands of all time, but other bands are doing something different, and that's cool too. So yeah, this album is very bouncy, very upbeat, you're tapping along. It's good music to start the day if you need some energy, and just fantastic folky striking melodies. They also include some tracks, you know, with those kind of like drunk Vikings sitting around the campfire vocal harmony songs, which are also featured on Moon Sorrow songs and to some extent Corporate Clowny songs. So yeah, no surprise, all 3 bands being Finnish, so this is their kind of Nordic folky black metal influence. Interestingly, being a Finnish band, all of the lyrics and titles are in Swedish, which is, I know like Finns have to learn Swedish in school, but I don't think they particularly like it. Like, I remember seeing an interview with this band and they said, if you speak Swedish in some parts of Finland, you get punched in the mouth. But anyway, I don't know why they decided to include this. Maybe it had some kind of theme, but anyway, my favorite track is track 4, Et Norskensdord. I think, sorry about my Swedish pronunciation or attempt at it. But yeah, so many good tracks. I just really love the whole thing. It's just catchy, bouncy, folky, melodic, upbeat black metal. So brilliant. And just show you the disc. And booklet, cool cover art with this. There's my goddamn battery. And yep, all lyrics included in Swedish and pictures of the band. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Don't be put off by the terms melodic and folky, it's actually really good. And I would recommend this to fans of Corporate Clowny and Moon Sorrow. So there you go. That's FINNTROLL with STERKVIND. Okay. How am I going for time? I'm actually on a time constraint today, guys, so I'll do my best to keep this short and sweet. Sure, you're happy about that. Okay, up next, this is a Portuguese black metal split featuring 3 bands. So this is Cult of the Black Flame, featuring 3 bands, FLAGELLEUM, Dei, FERRE, and STERKVIND. So, yeah, 3 tracks from each band. I got this in the mid-2000s. It's very sort of traditional cult-oriented black metal. But all bands sound distinct, definitely. I think my favorite of the 3, as I've mentioned, if you follow my Instagram, is FERRE. Just like has some really sick, twisted, haunting, catchy riffs. And my favorite song by FERRE is Nebelwerfer, which is track 5. Like just brilliant, haunting riffs in that song, that great old school vibe. It's fantastic. FLAGELLEUM Dei is good as well. Unfortunately, STERKVIND is one of those overtly far-right political bands, and you know, for me, I don't buy into that, so there you go. But yeah, just a real shame about the intro. They include like very bad taste, which it's also a shame because in my opinion, STERKVIND, they had some interesting musical ideas. Even at first I thought it sounded a bit crap with the gurgled vocals, but they're distorted, they grow on you. They had some interesting musical ideas with flutes and everything, but I just really have a problem with it to a degree when bands contaminate the music with like overt political messages. For me, this kind of music is not about that, but hey, that's just my opinion. I know a lot of other people think differently. But yes, just good underground black metal, and I think only STERKVIND is the political band that I understand. Like the other 2 are just standard black metal. But yeah, like I said, FERRE is great, so if you get a chance to listen to this, definitely check it out for old school vibes. So that's FLAGELLEUM Dei, FERRE, and STERKVIND with Cult of the Black Flame. Alright, okay, so coming up to the next album, I have spoken about this once before in rather disparaging terms, I must admit, and I take that back. This is Gamma Ray, so we're moving into G now, Gamma Ray with To The Metal. So some of you, if you've been following my channel, you may recall I included this in the 10 terrible albums in my collection video. As I've said with other albums, I actually retract that statement. This is not a terrible album. I just felt at the time it was kind of like a little bit derivative, but who isn't these days? Come on. And like, Gamma Ray was of course formed by the guy who was previously in Halloween. What's his name? I've had a mental blank. I know it, but I'll just include it down here. Yeah, and but yeah, that definitely shows. So if you're a fan of Halloween and Judas Priest, you will like this. It's very sort of traditional 80s heavy metal with that strong European, like we are metal kind of vibe. So very anthemic, almost like, you could even describe it as perhaps straightforward heavy metal, speed metal, and elements of power metal, definitely. But it's just, you know, fun, catchy essence of heavy metal music. And it also features Michael Kiske, the original vocalist from Halloween, so that's pretty cool. And he leaves his stamp on that track, All You Need to Know. The first 3 tracks on this are just awesome, I have to admit, like Empathy, All You Need to Know, and Time to Live, all great tracks, very Halloween-esque. Also the song To The Metal, a great anthem. I used to think it was a bit cheesy, but cheesy doesn't necessarily mean bad, and that's got a very Judas Priest vibe. But yeah, so like the first 4 tracks are absolutely kick-ass, but I do like the whole album. The first 4 are just the most memorable to me. So I know sometimes you can change your opinion and admit you're wrong, and I have, so this is actually a pretty good album. Yeah. In fact, very good, I would say. And how many bands out there play a similar style to other bands? So I was maybe being a critical bitch. But yeah, just good if you just like traditional power metal, speed metal, heavy metal, definitely check it out. Gamma Ray with To The Metal. Okay, and coming up to the last CD for today, last but certainly not least, a brilliant band from Norway. This is Gehenna with First Spell. There you go, you can see the logo. First of all, I love this cover art or photo, just so fantastic and atmospheric. Picture of the band on the back. This was released on Head Not Found Records, the Norwegian label. So if you're not familiar, I doubt it, Gehenna, not with an H at the end, just the A. They are a black metal band from Norway, and they play very keyboard-based black metal. So the keyboards play a big role in the music. They're almost constantly playing in the foreground, and on this particular recording, it's like the guitars and drums are sort of emphasized less, and it's more the keyboards which carry the melodies. But just great epic music. See, this cover art is perfect because it reminds you of riding on horseback, you know, on an overcast day across the Norwegian countryside or in a mystical land. Absolutely fantastic. And I always enjoy this when I put it on, and I do listen to it once in a while, but it never ever disappoints me. So I know some black metal fans don't like the symphonic or keyboard stuff so much. I wouldn't say this is symphonic, but there are a lot of sort of like almost organ sounding keyboards in this, but as I said, I think it makes for a great atmosphere. So my favorite tracks on this would be the opening track, Shivering Voice of the Ghost, which has got an amazing keyboard solo. And the other one I like is Angel Wings and Raven Claws. That's track 3, but literally no bad tracks on this album. They were just my 2 favorites. But if you like haunting, atmospheric, keyboard-based black metal, particularly Norwegian black metal, you will definitely love this. And it's funny, I don't own any of their other albums actually, and I really should rectify that. And I hope to see this band live one day soon. But yes, fantastic, atmospheric Norwegian black metal. This is Gehenna with First Spell. All right, guys, and believe it or not, 6 CDs in 16 minutes. I think that's a new record for me, but like I said, I have a few tasks today, so I was moving it along a bit, but hope you don't mind. It's better than going on for too long, isn't it? So I'm going to be back again soon with another video. I'm not sure exactly when, but the gap won't be as long as the last one. So hope to see you all soon. Once again, thanks to everyone for subscribing, watching, and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope you continue to watch. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.